Good morning, evening, or afternoon, Internet. I am DB Halbert, author of Black, the series, available on Amazon. And I'm here to continue my journey in learning the Pathfinder tabletop RPG rule system. And to do that, I am currently in the process of making an adventure, which I will eventually use for my own players, but I will first play through using my four custom-made characters that I built in this process. I built the four characters as to learn the character creation process, uh, see if there's anything about I can increase the accessibility for. Unfortunately, it does appear that when it comes to the character creation process, a lot of it is going to be just knowing what choices you want to make for your character out of the ones that would be available. So, can't really make it too much more quick. Uh, Unless, of course, you made it into a role system where I know there are 12 classes, that's a d12. I know there are 6 races, that's a d6. Uh, I know each race has 4 to 6-ish uh, racial feats, ancestry feats, I mean, that they have to choose from, and about 4 heritages that they have to choose from. So a couple more d12s in there, just with a wrapping system. All right. So yesterday we did go ahead and make some maps in Talespire, the program we'll be using for our mapping. That will be our map tool, basically our tabletop. And we'll use a separate program for our character sheets. I will actually recommend to my players that they have their character sheet printed out for themselves and in front of them. That way they don't have to be switching, if they have only a single monitor setup, they don't have to be switching from one tab to the other. So, we're going to be going back to Scrivener and working on it on the adventure in here today. So here's the thing: in a normal situation, I would want to, with about as much work as I put in this week. Really, I only worked on the game a couple more, like half an hour maybe, after I ended the stream, and each stream has been about 2 hours. So I mean, it's a significant amount of work I have put in. But that's also getting things set up. It becomes less work the more used to it I become. So what we will be doing is first we need to fill out some more location stuff, and we want to for that we want to make our location template better. So we have location name right now. Let's make that a thing. Location type. So we want its name. We then want to know what type of location it is. Uh, Location creator. Location inhabitants. Uh, Location purpose. So everything needs a purpose. We're not doing red herrings here. Uh, so this should be, oops, all of the information we need for a location generally. You can see I have updated the character one. This gives us all the information we need if by chance the players go on Murder Hobo. We can we have the fields we can fill out decently quickly to deal with that. Um, a lot of these, there won't be a class for commoners. I've decided the way to make adventurers stand out from commoners is you can do the ancestry, heritage, and background, and for townsfolk, and because they haven't gone through the class step, they also won't get, they haven't finished their ability scores, so they won't get that last 4 ability boosts as well, and that will put them at a lower rung, but they will still have abilities buffed based on what they're doing. And then they might get a class, and then suddenly they boost significantly in power. Okay, so and we have our encounter one here. Actually, before we move on to locations, let's finish off the encounters we know will be run into. So no, add template encounter. Okay, so we are going to rename this encounter. It is I'm misspelling this. Burial rooms. Okay, so how do I spell it? Word check. I was so close originally. Burial rooms, encounter difficulty. These aren't significant encounters. Let's jump back here. Crafting treasures, game mastering, 482. It won't be far after this. Oh, what am I doing? I have something for this. Encounter building. I'm a dum-dum. 290 takes us back to here, which is... Okay. So we want these to be modern encounters. So moderate or even less. Low. So 80 or 60. Which is as simple as, and this is what it will be, one to 4 zombies. Unkillable. Trait. Unlickable. Unlikable. No, killable. Inkillable? Ignoring it. 1 to 4 skeleton guards. And we want... what page was skeleton guards on? Skeleton guard 299. Let's go with an explosive. Their explosive death. In total. Uh, it was okay. And now we're going to this encounter location is in the Forgotten Catacombs. And this encounter purpose first one party get into the catacombs. The others are to wear them down. If their focus isn't the end, if they if their focus, if they at hand. Okay. So okay. So we've got that. Burial rooms. Main hall. Way. Oops. Control T, Control N. No. Let's just do it that way. Okay, and this is going to be okay. I want it to be a trapped main hallway, so there is that effect. Counter building. This is going to be trivial to them, but it will be a matter. Maybe not. It actually gives me a lot to work with it not being trivial. So I need to go to the game mastering bit. 480. Okay. Environmental hazards. Okay. So spinning blade pillar is a hazard level 4. Summoning runes. I fought a bunch of monsters up this point. Scythe blades. There we go. Hazard level 4. That's party level plus 3. It is simple. So that's only 24 experience. Contribution. Scythe blades. What's the wheel? Well, no, wheel of misery is a 6, so that's a little bit out of range. I could send a fireball rune at them. How dead would they be? Oh, it's a complex one, even. No, it's not. Fireball rune. It does 66 fire damage with a D22 reflex save. Alright, guys. Glad you had fun. Time to die. So Scythe Blades, when activated, they fall dealing with an attack of plus 17, doing 2d12 plus 4 slashing. It's a little too much for what I'm going for. I mean, is it though? Starting characters start with 15 health on average, it appears. based on the fact that I have two characters, different races, different classes, both with 15 health. Ooh, let's just have a hallway full of spear launchers. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. So, spear launchers. They're hazard level 2, and they are simple. So that's going to be, each of those contribute 12. We do 5 of them throughout that hallway. It'll be sporadic enough that that they probably won't be able to catch on to any pattern. While also still being fairly threatening at a plus 14 to hit and 2d6 plus 6 damage. Though I do want to definitely come back to those scythe blades. And its stealth DC is not very high. A DC 20. Yeah, that's... I mean, yeah, especially if there's a rogue in the party who starts with expert in perception. That's a plus 5 for them off the bat, so that becomes near 15, and whatever wisdom reduces that even more. So, I mean, it's not bad, it's not great. Woohoo! I just had an idea. Oh. Encounter treasure. None. Encounter location. Last catacombs. Corridor. That's curator. Corridor? Quarried, queried, querier. Oh. Well, I was way off. Okay, give me a second. I've got a bit of my toe that's bothering me. There, much better. I won't snag on things. Okay. So, we've got in this encounter purpose. To give a taste of traps in this system. And to whittle. And with my main group, there are 6 players, so I'll be able to increase the number of spear traps essentially by 2 more spear traps in the hallway. Okay. And add template encounter. Orbs resting. Orbs resting place. And this one we want to be severe. This is a boss fight. This isn't a one-a-day encounter, so we're not going extreme. Again, this is also the whole purpose of this adventure is to help us feel out the balance of the game. So we're trying to figure out how many severe plus moderate plus what I either will need to increase the number of difficulty the amount of encounter difficulty. There we go. In a day for the party, or reduce, depending on how they come out of this. So severe, that's 120. Encounter threats. So we want a big boss. So let's hop to the end of the monster, the bestiary. the monster book. Creature by type with level increments. So we could go ghost. This would at party level +4, we could get up to a poltergeist. I don't think I want to do that. A white might be good at a party level +2. Or a ghast at a party level +1. Yeah, let's do the ghast. That's going to be a significant challenge just because it adds the paralysis option in there. So, ghast, party level +1. That's going to be page 169. And it clings to the orb, this thing that creates ghouls, or ravenous undead, who haunt graveyards and eat corpses. And this thing brings corpses back to life and brings them to it, so it clings to it. So ghast, and at party level +2, that's going to be 80, so I have 40 more experience to add to this encounter. Okay, so we have the ghast. Now, I had a thought, and it could be a bad thought. No, I'm not going to do it. I was going to put swinging blades. Actually, where's... where is it? Blade pillar. I'm looking for that. I said it earlier. Spinning blade pillar. Okay. Of course, they're not in alphabetical order. That would make too much sense. Spinning blade pillar is a complex trap. That's why I'm not finding it. Spinning blade pillar. Routine. Every 3 actions, the trap uses its first. Oh, it has 3 actions. It uses its first action to make spinning blade strike against an adjacent creature. Its second action is to move straight in a random direction. Roll 1d4 to determine the direction. And its third action is to make a spinning blade strike against each adjacent creature when it stops. This trap doesn't take multiple attacks. Take penalties for attacking multiple times. DC 21 trained thievery check on the pillar disables it, or a thievery DC 19 expert check once on a control panel deactivates it entirely. Breaking the control panel prevents anyone from disabling the trap using the control panel, but does not stop the trap from working. Trigger: a creature steps onto a the trapped floor tiles. Effect: the trap pops up from the ground, intersecting. Yes. Okay, and because it's complex as well, it's going to have a more significant contribution. It's a 4, so that's probably level +3. Whoa! I want it though. So party level, downgrade ghoul to gas to ghoul, and put this trap in. It will make the fight more interesting. The rogue has an opportunity. A rogue might have an opportunity to do something with it. Ghoul. Well, thank you. So I want this to be as in depth as possible because I want to know it before I actually run it for other people. So encounter treasure. The orb? Question mark. And by the way, I do have the books in front of me. I just wanting to avoid any trouble whatsoever. I'm not going to be putting them on on the broadcast. So that's why I might stop for a second and it might be dead air because I might be just scrolling through the PDFs or flipping through my physical copies. So encounter treasure, the orb. Up to this point, this ancient magical orb has been releasing waves of energy that have been creating the undead that the party is having to been fight. So it's likely to be destroyed. Uh, okay. No campaign so far. This is just an adventure. So the difference being an adventure is made up of encounters, and a campaign is made up of adventures. So what we have in the campaign is uh, we're doing the adventure as simple delivery. Simple delivery. We have our hook. The group has a generic hook. Group has accepted a contract to deliver supplies to to primary location, which we've determined at this point to be the town of Fulham. I don't expect you to know what the town of Fulham is. It's something I made up while streaming. Then we have the objective, and this is something that the players don't know immediately, but hopefully get to. The objective is to discover and deal with the source of undead in the area. The source of the orb, the source of is a magic orb from the Forgotten Catacombs. Complications. Destroying the orb will begin the campaign. So this campaign is called Eternal Eclipse, and if they break this orb, it will release a thunderous sound out into the atmosphere, and the sun will be blotted out, and it will remain that way until every DM's different. I get this in depth because I write books too. That's why I have the Scrivener program. I I've written 2 novels that are on Amazon, and I'm working on a third. So I use this because it's how my mind works. Uh, and a secondary complication, any character that dies, including any NPCs the party might have come across that die until the orb is destroyed, or until the ghoul that is holding the orb is slain, they'll come back as zombies. So you might have little Gina who was playing with her dog, and suddenly the party have to fight a zombie that looks like this little girl they met coming into town because she went out last night, and zombies. Threats known, we have undead, natural hazards, and hazards in the catacomb. Actually haven't figured out any way of doing any natural hazards. That was an option for the very first fight that introduces the threat of the undead. Hazards of the catacombs, that's where we have the traps. Locations, we have the road into town, the town of Fulham, the old church, Forgotten Catacomb, potential allies. I want to design 3 characters that could right now, because I'm just now switching over to Pathfinder 2e. Right now my goal is to not change anything until I have a grasp of the system itself. Otherwise, I'm all for homebrewing. I come from 5th edition, and really the only way you can make 5th edition interesting at this time, in my opinion, having played the living daylights out of it, is to use homebrew stuff, because there's power creep in the additions that they're putting into 5th edition, so you can tell that the new ranger subclasses are just more powerful than the old ranger stuff, and they're not updating, they're not putting out an errata to the player's handbook. So I'm going to be with potential allies, going to be designing 3 characters, 4 characters actually, because one of them will be a thief that the party might convince to help out, and that thief is from a group of grave robbers that all are dead except for them, and we're the ones who released the power of the orb. So this is all the hook is. There's nothing on it. That's why it has the flashcard icon right here. There's nothing on this objective page. That's why it's blank. So same with complications, threats. But in threats, we have our known encounters. And now, this is the thing about preparing for a game. These are the encounters I know will happen, but there can be other encounters. If these guys piss off that thief, they might have to subdue them, or something along those lines, or if they piss off the town people. But we then have the introductory encounter, and this is introducing the threat. And since you weren't here yesterday, I'll go ahead and do something else. Cool. But yeah, I just wanted a little bit more complexity than what 5th edition was giving. I've always been, quote unquote, a rules lawyer, in and of the fact that I've memorized the rules fairly quickly and can be relied on to express those rules, even back in 3.5 when D&D 3.5 when I started playing. And 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons came out, and I wasn't interested in D&D 3.75, which is what everyone referred to Pathfinder as, the original Pathfinder. I'm launching my tabletop program. My group is going to be using Talespire, so each of these encounters that I've already prepared, I'm going to go ahead and show you the map for them as well. So, windowed mode, apply. So we have the road into Fulham. This is the introductory encounter I mentioned before. And it's going to be a dark, foggy night. The party was all around a campfire, and one of these guys will be on rest when zombies begin to approach from the mist. Actually, if I do this, got zombies approaching from the mist. So this is what we will be using for our tabletop. Oop, my dice hit a tree. And I roll a natural 20. Ooh, so you do art, homemade art for your tokens as well? I tend to end up doing portraits for my players. And actually, the other map I've completed, I haven't completed the town of Fulham yet. So you'll notice that the town itself is lacking some roadway. But generally, this map will only be used for an encounter around the old abandoned inn over here. And lastly, we have the crux of the encounters, the old church outside of the town. Mausoleum over here. I just thought it looked cool, so I put it down. If I lay this down to do I have to put on build mode to be able? There we go. So this is well, no, this is left open. So there's a middle hatch here, and that goes down. Into a forgotten catacomb. Which this hallway has within it 5 spear launching traps, and our ghoul will be fighting in here, and also just a gift for your friend. And this is the fight we were just working on. So leave that. So we have introducing the threat, which is that fight on the road. We have surviving the first night. So when they arrive in town, the group will find that there isn't a place for them to rest. The town tavern / inn has been abandoned for weeks. Has been abandoned for some time, and the townspeople do not want to take any of them in. I honestly don't know. I'm again this week has been my first foray into Pathfinder 2e. The characters I've made include Harley Quinn-esque character that's a ruffian rogue, goblin instead of a human, because making them interesting. A Raven-style character, which is a aberrant sorcerer, a dwarf fighter, a very generic dwarf fighter, and a halfling cleric. I don't remember the god's name, but the one that became a god because of a drunken dare. So those lost. This is the fight at the church. This is where they fight the bandits, the potential ally, the bandits, former co-workers that almost escaped, but didn't. And now they are defenders of the church itself. And we got our burial rooms, the main hallway, and we're working on the the orb's resting place. The orb itself, room, encounter purpose. Invested in the orb. So, if you explain to me what a Gripply character, like, I might be able to think of something, but again, I don't know most of the classes or features for Pathfinder. Slaying the ghoul that has invested in the orb stops the undead onslaught. Onslaught? Oh boy. Okay. So the orb? Question mark. I'm thinking I want some other treasure because I haven't given out much of the treasure yet. So I still need 77 gold pieces and 5 silver pieces worth of treasure, and this is before the burial rooms. And I won't count the burial rooms, just as not all of them are required to be to complete the adventure, so it's not likely that they're going to. Gripply are small frog people. Rogue. I mean, I can see why Ranger would be one, but uh, frogs are also known to be stealthy in many ways. Uh, Alchemist sounds fun. Uh, Barbarian. I mean, it's kind of like the halfling barbarian thing, I would think, if Gripply are cute frog-like people. Actually, let me. Are they in the bestiary? Uh, no. Path. I can go to a browser though. Oh yeah, no, those are cutie patooties. So one of those is a barbarian, the Croak of Doom. Why is it not in the bestiary yet? Strange. Okay, back to work. So first burial room, I will be putting one of their two permanent level 2 permanent items. Level 2 permanent. I mean, that's the one that makes the most sense. It does recommend against +1 items. Ooh, let's do a low grade silver weapon. Longsword, of course. Hey, to each their own. That's fine. In 5th edition, I had a homebrew small uh, small fox person race that I would see if any dungeon master I ran with would let me run, and I had NPCs at the wazoo. They essentially replaced halflings in my world. So each their own. And in my next book, that race makes an appearance as one of the new cast. In the first burial room, do I want it to be a silver longsword? Because that's generally the go-to for random items. So yeah, let's do that. Silver is a low-grade silver longsword. Value is... because whatever I don't give them in treasure, they get in coin. And it's 40 plus a longsword. It's page 537, write that down. Items is 2, so... oh, I have it at 290. This will put me close enough. Longsword. Martial weapons. Longsword. 1 gold piece, so 41 gold. And this is a level 2 permanent item, so its whole value is added to their loot, not half. So 36 left. Okay. Um, yeah, so that's one of the biggest things is a lot of people make the rare races, the ones where I'm the only one that you'll ever see in your entire existence. No, my fox person race was meant to be like a replacement to halflings, like this idea that they're prolific everywhere. Anywhere there's civilization, they're there too. But kind of like goblins, but not grummagey. So we have another level 2 permanent. Actually, we don't need, because it's not likely that they will level up at the end of this. So this is uh, 1 to 2. So, and that's what I need to remember when looking at treasure. I'm used to much faster leveling time to level. TTL. Da, 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 da. There we are, treasure. So let's get another first level permanent, and then 1 second level consumable. So let's do it like this. So we want one of these. One of those. And 2 of these. Interesting. That sounds like the Grung frog race in D&D. Okay, so I want those. We can go back to 537, not 517. There we go. So level 1 consumables. Fair. I come from. I recommend looking them up though, because they have a skin color hierarchy. So something to look into. But their skin color hierarchy generally is just what type of poison their skin produces as well as the major trait. Otherwise, it's their strength or intelligence. Okay, so let's give one of the level ones is going to be a healing potion. Minor. Given to the group before they head to the old church. And so let's do this number so that they're all separate. And let's do a scroll of a first level spell. 1d4 to say what school. 2, so that's going to be divine. And let's go to spells. What's a good first level spell? Divine scroll spell. Interesting. First level divine spell. One that sounds interesting. Ooh, let's do an interesting one. We can do disrupting weapon. And this is in it's hidden beneath the altar. The old church. Well, definitely when I get done with my first... So my first campaign with this will be just rules as written, because me and my players got to learn the Pathfinder rules. And as I mentioned, I'm the type of person who really learns the rules and has them memorized. So eventually it does get to the point, even in Dungeons & Dragons 3.5, we didn't have to really look up rules at any point. If something came up, everyone would just look at me and I would tell them the rule from the book. And from time to time, they would double check my work and find me to be correct again. So now we need a level 1 permanent item. And there are only 4 options in the treasure tables. Nah. Nah, mate. Translate it into gold. Uh, ooh. Healing potions and scrolls. How much do... Oh, right here. Minor healing potion is 4 GP. And... Scroll of Disrupting Weapon as a level 1 scroll is 4 GP. So that's 8 more. Because all of this is just from this adventure. Well, here's the thing. You can be a stickler for the rules and still have fun. That's like, but it would be like saying this nasty thing called physics is ruining my fun in life. It's not a matter of the rule ruining your fun. It's a matter of your expectations to not have to follow the rule, then ruining your fun when the rule comes into place. Uh, there, is it? So, 3.5 Book of Erotic Fantasy. I think that is one of the optional tables in there. Is they give you the baseline for your race and then how many dice to roll, and you can make it part of your character creation with the dice also being relevant to your height and your weight. Uh, one level 2 consumable. Uh, Tells us what page it's on, so let's Jade Cat. Let's see what these talismans are. So it is it's a consumable, so I'm assuming the Jade Cat breaks once you use it. Yep. Now I can see how that can be frustrating. But I can also understand from his point of view. If, and hear me out, if you allow literally anything to happen, the problem with that is things become confusing and uncontrolled. The reason the rules exist are to give you guidelines on how to be consistent with judgments of certain things. Now, you can take rules too far, but you can also, in my opinion, you can take breaking or bending the rules too far as well. Eventually, you aren't even playing the same game as you set out to play. And I think that's actually a big problem with the 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons community right now, is that there's a lot of people who go entirely off of the rule of cool first and foremost. And in doing that, if you sit in on one of their game sessions, it's not 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, and that's one of the reasons I'm shifting to Pathfinder 2e. Is it has a more robust rule system that's closer in line to what I want, so I have to homebrew in it less. I'm working on my own system though, because I also recognize that this is not going to be the end all. This isn't going to be the perfect game system for me, and my system might not either. But the closer you can get to what you're looking for, the better. Yeah, that on the other hand, if it exists in the game, it's part of the game. If it's part of the core, like I can understand if a DM is like, look, we're not a GM is like, look, we're not using these bits of material. If coming from 3.5, I'm actually still playing in a D&D 3.5 game as of right now. There are so many books out there for that game that if you just allow anything, there's too much. Uh, so what you do is you pick the books that are allowed, usually the books that are the complete books and the core rule books, generally. With Pathfinder, I don't imagine there's. I mean, I know Pathfinder 1. There's nearly as many books in for Pathfinder 1 as there was for 3.5 D&D, or more. So I can understand that for Pathfinder 1, but for Pathfinder 2, I can't find too many expansion books for it yet. Ah, old apps. They're great. They're not. No, it does sound like your DM is a little bit more controlling than myself. Uh, one level 2 consumable. Bravo's Brew. I don't know what it does. Sounds cool. Bravos. Brew. Lesser. There. That's on page 547. $563. Oof. That is a preference. I I personally don't have any problem with players going about their own thing, but I will get frustrated over time if players are actively refusing to go along any. Uh, Sounds like there's a bit of beer and pretzelness, how you and your other friend want to play, and the DM, your game master, has a very specific story he wants to tell as without it becoming too long-winded. So, something I might suggest, and people don't like this when I suggest it. If you're not having fun, or things are regularly happening that reduces the amount of fun you're having, uh, either offer to run a few sessions to show him uh, a few one shots, maybe, to show him what you find to be fun and the style of play you have. Because sometimes uh, myself included, uh, I very much was always my group's game master, and I had a very certain way in my head how I wanted the game to go, and that was mostly because I didn't have experience with other styles of game, and I'm loosening up more as I experience different games and game styles. Okay. Uh, 565 rules on that. And 599. And here's the other thing. If that doesn't work, this is a game, it is a hobby. If you feel your fun being limited, sometimes it might be a situation where you look for a different group. That was archaic speak to me. That you were speaking in tongues, my friend. Two Eidolons as a Brood Master Summoner. Is that from Pathfinder? Is that Pathfinder 1 stuff? Is because I only know some of what is in the Pathfinder 2e core rulebook. I don't know anything beyond that. Okay. So that. So this 21 gold, 5 silver. That's going to be given to them as a reward. The town will have. Uh, put quotes around brave heroes because we don't know if they're heroes yet. We don't know if they're brave yet. They just happen to want to stop the undead. Okay, so don't need you or you anymore because if I go into locations, new town, oh, location, uh, the yelling womboat. Excuse me, my phone is beeping. I have a job interview Saturdays tomorrow, so I need to finish filling out this form. Anything that we'll need? So, are Eidolons a type of creature? Or like, uh, not type of creature, but like pets, essentially? I did play in one Pathfinder 1 game as a witch, and I did see the Eidolon when prepping for it. No, it makes sense. Instead of being instead of the summon spells, yeah, instead of the summon spells, there's fictional character, uh, a fictional character themos around what is called an idolist. So I'm guessing that's why it sounds so similar. And the idolist is someone who makes a spirit bond with this great beast, and as they both increase in power as the other does. Okay, so we have the yelling wombat. Uh, well, yeah, I say spirit beast. I mean uh, a being of spirit that takes on any form. So an idolist could essentially be. I, I just had this thought. You could uh, essentially build an summoner brood master uh, with your eidolons taking the form of whomever you would like to be part of a harem. Let's just say anime schoolgirls, and now you have a bunch of anime schoolgirls fighting at your behest. This location is the old church. We're gonna need a general goods store. Stop going into other people's stuff. The beauty of the idea. You want 3. That, hmm, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, bud. It's not my game. I'm not even a part of it. I can only say is if you regularly are finding yourself not having fun because of the limitations he's putting on, start looking for another game, man. Uh, express the first express the difficulties you're having and the fact that you are having reduced fun because of the many limitations. See if he has any response, and if his response isn't to your liking, find a different game. There's other tables you can play at, online tables as well. Mini Dragon. Uh, can can your build have a familiar? Because it's at least in 2e, the familiar is not given a specific shape. It's just regardless of what your familiar was before it became a familiar, these are its stats now. Plus your modified stuff. Because if you can have a familiar, you might be able to sway a. Look, it's not actually a dragon, but it's a mini dragon familiar. A pseudo dragon, you might say. General goods store. We'll rename that. That's also where they're delivering the package to. So these are the locations I know I need. So the Yelling Wombat. Wambat. Location type. Run down. No, I got that. I got that bit. I don't know, man. Tavern. The creator. Humans. And I need to turn that off for the future ones. Humans. No one. Maybe some rats. And bugs. Location purpose. What are feelings? Well, that's the beautiful thing is you can roleplay the character who has a harem and doesn't realize it's a harem, and let the other players know that that's the aesthetic you're going for, so that their characters can then roleplay onto that. Like, you know what's going on, right? And your character can then plain-facedly go, I have no idea what you're talking about. Location purpose. Respite for the party and inevitably coming. I'm great at spelling. No. I might be a published author, but spelling is not a requirement to be such. I need to only be close enough that spell correct can help me out. Okay, the old church. Run down. Church. Location creator. Lord Guthric. Lorf. Lord Guthric. Go. Inhabitants. Ah. I'm assuming that's a no-no for Strix characters. Location inhabitants. The dead. Location purpose. Entrance to a lost catacomb. Hidden within. General goods store. Jadia. I like your name, but it doesn't roll off as a single name. So Jadia. Jadia's... Yeah. So, less of, okay. So... Well, now it's Jadia. D a J. Yeah, D a J. That's what I thought it was. And it's... Look. I also have to put some differences in there. You'll know that it's you. But I gotta put some differences in there for future information. Okay, cool. Location type. Ah. A general goods store of Fulham. Location creator. The owner. Jadia Jones. Johns. Jadia Johns. Jadia Jones. Location inhabitants. The Jones family. Including Jadia. All right. I'll make it one of the way. So I'll make the challenge to get the healing potion. It will be a trivia thing about the ancient spellcasters, Eidolon. Question. Feel free to not answer. Significant other for you. Would that be a guy or a girl? I'm trying to figure out if Jadia is married to a dude or a woman. Location purpose. Oh, you don't have to do that. I used your name instead of pulling up a name generator, so. Their wife, Ida. Ooh, heart emoji. I can too. Aha! Haha! And their daughter. Nope. Pulling up name generator. So, my go-to name generator is behind the names. Because you can get real-world names. Oh, no. Much appreciated. Charlotte, okay. Got it. No name generator needed. The players can supply themselves with anything of one GP of value or less. with a 2% chance. Anything from that, including healing potions. Three minor healing potions. Cool. Eidolon be occultic or arcana? I'm gonna be right back. I need to go get a drink, and I'm thinking, Pinion, would Eidolon information be occultic or arcana? Let me know. You figure it out? Would Idolist information be occultic or arcana? Let me turn that down again. Cultic or arcana? Idolist information. I'm gonna go with cultic. What's a moderately challenging DC? Simple DCs. You need to be an expert. This is expert information. So DC 20. Arcana. Arcana. Switching it to Arcana. Gets them one for free. Gets a group, not them. They will. Oh, excuse me. Whew. I should not be allowed to drink soda. I am rude as... I'll get out. Gets... Oh, oh no, that... I don't have it in a very quick, uh, low latency mode. I want to use up as little internet streaming as possible. If I become big, which one day I might be, as a channel, I might switch to lower latency. Oh, knowledge planes. So planes lore would be the Pathfinder 2E equivalent. So what I'll do is Arcana check DC 20. Planes lore. DC 15. There we go. Because I think that's the best way of utilizing those skills. Arcana, occultic, occultism, religion, and nature all are very... They give you information about those things. So they are essentially the lores, the knowledges. Alright, so explaining that they will investigate the undead issue gets them a different one. Gets them one. Market value is 4. It's for sale at 6. Give... I don't know. I do have a Discord server. I use it for... I used it once for Overwatch, an Overwatch online league that I was running. So what I can do, I can post the link to that and set up a channel in there. But I am positive that it will be, and some of the lag is partially because of me. I'm working on 3 monitors, and the chat is the furthest monitor away from what I'm working on. Super settings, invites. Pinned messages. I don't have... How do I get this link again? No, I don't want to create a channel. Invite people. Oh, I get it. Here. That'll take you to the Good Sports League. And I'll have that open on Phantom Bit's live stream chat, as that is my screen name is Phantom Bit. Alright, so, and third is for sale for 6GP. Cool. So, potential allies. So I can move potential allies to trash, because I will instead be adding from template character, and I will be doing that 4 times. Dang it. Character. Cool. Dang it. Okay, so we have 4 characters, potential allies. Hello, hello! Alright, so first off, one of the potential allies is going to be this bandit. I would love to see the Hobgoblin sketch. I might even put it on stream. So this bandit is one of them. So, oh, ooh, that's really cool. That's actually really good. Awesome. Since we're showing off artwork, slicer be nice. Since we're showing off artwork, where's one of my favorite ones is my Boop character. He's okay, I show up and my Discord server begins to... I'm sorry about this. This one. So, this is Boop, the familiar of the main character of my book. Well, here, I promise you, here's why. Alright. So, we gotta make a character. This character is going to be a level 1 rogue. They're going to be a scoundrel. They are going to be human. Because I do fall into the... I notice that human should be the most common race, because that's kind of their shtick. Every other race tends to be much more long-lived or be monsters, generally seen as monsters in some way, and come across way more often than humans, like goblins. Way more common than humans, but generally on the other side of the equation. So, we're gonna quickly scroll so we can get this started. Everything will be 10, 10, 10. So let's just make a character real quick. You could. Okay. So just after halflings, we get humans. And their heritage will be skilled. Skilled human. Their background... Oh, human gives them 2 free, so... Dex and intelligence. Peace. Alright, and the feature they'll get from human will be... Let's go cooperative nature. They're meant to be a side character, so they will be page 57. So by doing cooperative nature, if they join as an ally, their aid ability, aid skill. So to draw beaks like that, first you need to practice drawing cones. Once you get comfortable drawing cones, which honestly it really ends up being, drawing a triangle and then making the edge rounded, the shortest of the 3 sides rounded, and then shading. It really is mostly in the shading for cones. And then you can add bend to it, have it open, so you draw the cone and then you pull a part of it away. And humans start with 8 and a speed of 25. Alright, after we know that, we now go to our background, and this is not a good person. They were... I'm sorry, I'm dyslexic. Every time I see artisan, I think arson. That's not bad. That's great. I can't consider a drawing complete unless I shade it. Let's go Charlatan. And this is one of the options for potential allies that actually has a class. So Rogue. So Charlatan gives 2 ability boosts. One must be Intelligence or Charisma, and the other is a free boost. Well, I went Intelligence with the humans, so let's go Charisma, and it's a Rogue. Dexterity. Trained in Deception and Underworld Lore. So Underworld Lore. Trained and in Deception. Trained. And also gain the feat Charming Liar. Okay, and now we move on to class. Excuse me. That's fair. There's an art style I've been wanting to learn, which is a grittier, uh, art style. I don't have any examples to show, but it kind of is along the lines of the art of original Dungeons and Dragons book, but freehand rather than what they did, which was take comic books of the time and copy them over. Which, I mean, in no way, shape, or form is technically illegal because they transform it enough. Though they TSR did have to change Halfling from Hobbit. So after Ranger is Rogue. So they are an expert in perception. It's 5 plus Wisdom modifier. We'll get there in a second. Ability boost in Dexterity, or an option from the Rogue Racket. So Scoundrel doesn't chain. Ooh, they can make Charisma their key ability, and Thief. So Thief is Dexterity, Scoundrel is Charisma. I didn't read that when I made made Quinn, my Harley Quinn character, the Goblin Ruffian. So you know what? I use fast talking, flattery, and silver tongue to avoid danger and escape tricky situations. You might be a grifter or con artist, traveling from place to place. New story, professions, new story or scheme. Your racket is also ideal for certain reputable professions like barrister, diplomat, or politician. When you successfully feint, the target is flat-footed against melee attacks. You attempt against it until the end of your next turn. On a critical success, the target is flat-footed against all melee attacks until the end of your next turn, not just yours. Ooh, that's good. So Scoundrel it is. I'm gonna take back. You're gonna be a charisma-based character. 16 at this point. And they are trained in deception and diplomacy, which I'm already trained in from my background, deceptions. So that's a free one. And then skills, stealth, and 7 plus int. Well, let's do our plus 4. They obviously weren't very wise. They went into a tomb not knowing what was down there. One second. Hey, whatever floats your boats. By the way, awesome Discord icon. Rogues are... Oh, I can do this now. 0, 2, 1, not 10. 2, 0, 4. So I get 9 others. Rogues are ridiculous. Trained. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're a bit of a nerd. And this is a way for the group, if they don't have Arcana or Planes, if they befriend this character first, they can still get that extra healing potion. That is not part of the party loot. Sneak plus snack equals snack. Page 181. And surprise attack. Also page 181. Now the rogue feat. As it is, they get a rogue feat at level 1. The first 3 characters made all got feats at level 1 from their class. And then I made a cleric. They don't. So that's something that took me aback. Pathfinder. There's a reason they were on this trip. Page 183. Alright. The rest I will fill out. Right now it's not necessary. They will be at least in... Rugs are proficient. Trained in light armor, so... There's no reason if you're trained in light armor to not start with solid leather. It's not that expensive compared to leather armor, and it gives you +1 bonus, especially when your dexterity doesn't reach its cap. So that's going to be 2 plus proficiency, 3, 5 plus dex, 2 more, 17. Perception, 5 plus wisdom, 5. Fort, 3. 3 plus con, 4. Reflex, 5 plus dex, 7. Will, 5 plus wisdom, 0. Oh, and let's put in trained expert. Trained expert. This we'll deal with the skills later. As with the inventory, that should be good with this character. And ongoing effects, that's a section for in-game being able to track debuffs or things and be able to count them during rounds type of thing. Because I need to be able to flip between these character sheets. This rogue character, I will go to... I will this time actually go to my name generator. So, settings, not German. Let's close my general settings. No, this is out in the Eastern, so let's go Russian, Romanian, Czech, Turkish, Slavic, Czech, and this is either. I don't have a preference for this character. Let's do 5 names at a time. Generate. Mithat. I like this one. Mithat Sylvie Vasilev. All right. Um, they call me Mathat. Uh, Role-played information. Terrified and a bore witness. It's a better way of saying saw. Patriots. To leave this place. There we go. Oh, and rogue is 8 plus con, so 9. There we go. All right. The rest of this I can grab off the fly generally. Oh, expert. This is 5 plus 0. I think I'm gonna call my stream there. My mother is calling for me for assistance on some task. I'll work on the other characters next time. Before next time, between now and tomorrow. Tomorrow after my interview, I'll probably end, because my interview's at about noon. So after my interview, I'll probably end up streaming a last minute finish whatever else I need to get done type of thing, and then tomorrow evening before my before my actual game, I might run the first encounter. See how that goes. All right. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for the great conversations. I will see you. I mean, I saw you followed me, so I'll likely see you again sometime in the future. Bye.